Welcome to the second series of talks at Pani Pe Charcha, Clean Water Talks. Today's topic is distribution of water for consumer convenience. We have with us Mr. Madhu Krishnamoorthy, WaterHealth India, to deliver this talk. Pani Pe Charcha talks are conducted under the USAID supported program SEWAH, Sustainable Enterprises for Water and Health, with the objective of sharing knowledge to support the scale-up of safe water enterprises in India. SEWAH movement is making innovations and basic provisions for delivery of safe and affordable, safe water to the last mile. I am your host Poonam Sevak, Vice President Programs and Partnerships from Safe Water Network. Safe Water Network catalyzes affordable safe water delivery for poor, working on three pillars: direct field implementation, policy and advisory, and alliance and networking. With me is Mr. Anand Rudra, Senior WASH Specialist from USAID. Mr. Anand has 30 years of experience in WASH and health. He supports cross-cutting urban development initiatives, not only to USAID India, but also to the USAID South Asia missions. Over to you, Mr. Anand Rudra.
Thank you, Poonamji, and congratulations on continuing the episode of the talks on the topic of water, which I think we all know how important, particularly in the situation where basic services are considered very critical. In the current context, as we speak, the COVID situation has brought into the limelight and in the forefront a lot of things that we take for granted always. One of the things which we see has come forth is the issue of water. I'm very glad that SEWAH under the USAID support is leading the efforts on bringing together not just partners on the ground, but people who are in the policy, people who are basically in decision making, people who are basically managing the sector for service delivery are also coming together to share their thoughts. And in that tone, I think this series, which is Pani Pe Charcha, people talking on the topic of water, is very critical. I'm very glad that SEWAH is taking a lead on this and basically sharing the views of the leaders who are all our partners. And I'm very glad that they have all come together. They have diverse views. And I think that's what is the beauty of this platform. It's the diversity and the unity in diversity in which SEWAH brings all of them together. I look forward to hearing today's speaker, Madhu. All the best, SEWAH, great work. Look forward to hearing more on the meet today. Thank you so much, Poonamji.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Madhu Krishnamoorthy needs no introduction. He is working in the water sector for last 20 years. With a degree in BE Electronics and Communication and Marketing, he leads the water health business development and works continuously for innovations to drive affordable, safe drinking water to the communities very reliably. He has 23 years of experience. About WaterHealth, WaterHealth is a US-based organization headquartered in California. WaterHealth India is their subsidiary. WaterHealth has got operations in Ghana, Nigeria, and India. Their brand, Dr. Water, is serving water to millions in India through their water ATMs and also through consumer convenience by distribution, which is their very, very innovative model. Over to you, Madhu, to walk us through your program.
Thank you, Poonamji. Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, everybody. Thanks a lot for taking the time and having me here and listening to my talk on the customer convenience aspect of water distribution. And Anand, thanks a lot for taking the time to put this together. Really appreciate your presence here. It is definitely a very huge motivational factor.
అచ్చా కంపెనీలోకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది, టైం సరిపోతుంది. దీనివల్ల మీకు టైం సేవ్ అవుతుంది డెలివరీ, అంతేనా? ఇది ఇంకేమైనా ఇంట్లో ఆరోగ్యాలు బాగున్నాయండి అందరికీ? మీరు ఎన్ని ఇయర్ నుంచి డాక్టర్ వాటర్ వాడతారు? 10 సంవత్సరాల నుంచి వాడతారు. దేనికి వాడతారండి వాటర్? వంటకి, తాగడానికి. డైలీ ఎన్ని డబ్బాలు తీసుకుంటారు? ఈ డాక్టర్ వాటర్ సర్వీస్ ఇంకా మీరు తీసుకోవాలనుకుంటున్నారా? ఇంకా ముందు కావాలనుకుంటున్నారా? ఓకే. ఇంకా ఇంకేదైనా వాటర్లో ప్రాబ్లం ఏమైనా ఉందా?
వాటర్లో ప్రాబ్లం అంటే ఈ వాటర్ అలవాటు అయినాక వేరే వాటర్ రావాలనిపిస్తలేదు.
ఓకే.
ఇవే వాటర్ తాగుతున్నాం.
ఇంట్లో ఫ్యామిలీకి ఏమన్నా ఎలాంటివి ఏమన్నా ఉన్నాయా వాటర్ తాగినప్పటి నుంచి?
ఇవే అలవాటు అయిపోయింది, వేరే వాటర్ రావాలనిపిస్తలేదు.
When we started 15 years ago, when we started 15 years ago, one of the key aspects that was there is we had this water health center in the proverbial center of a village, and people used to come from all over around the village to come and pick up water from that convenient place. But the definition of convenience changed over a period of time. What happened in 2005, today if you go to those villages, it's a completely different story. So we also had to morph, change, and ensure that the convenience that we are providing to consumers is basically in line with what they require in that part of time. And that is how our mindset changed from being just a center where people came and picked up water to moving to the other end of the spectrum, where we took the water, purified water, to the people who wanted it, to the consumers, to the beneficiaries, as you would call it. And this convenience is something that was sought by a number of our customers, and we said that if we cannot do it, then there's nobody else who do it. And the interesting story here was that we didn't have experience in running these auto rickshaws or these trucks, and it was very difficult initially for us to actually find people who would actually do it for us. So what did we do? We did the next best thing. We bought 50 Tata Aces, and we said that we're going to put them in 50 markets where there is a huge need for delivered water, where the need for consumer convenience is very high. And we said, let's run this pilot ourselves. This was way back in 2010-11 when we bought these 50 Tata Aces, and we did it. Along the way, we realized a lot of things. There were a lot of learnings. At the end of the day, whenever we embark on something that is not core to whatever you do, water purification is core to whatever we do, not water distribution, we realized that we probably were not up for it. And we did learn a lot of things. We said that we were able to get a consumer base which was quite big, and we were able to serve them. But we realized that this is not something that we could manage on a day-to-day basis in a distributed fashion. You have to take care of the autos, the maintenance, the fuel, their parts, the driver not coming, the helper not coming. So we said that let us take this away. We have not perfected the model, but we have understood the model. Now we can get it on to people who are franchisees, or we call entrepreneurs, who would be delivery service providers who would provide the services for us and charge a convenience fee to the customer for picking up the water from the center to their doorstep. And that is how this whole thing began. Today, we have close to about 200 such delivery service providers spread across the length and breadth of the country. And I'll tell you why the numbers are lower compared to the total number of centers that we have got. Out of the 350 WaterHealth centers, close to about 150 of them are in urban areas. And in urban areas, the proliferation of the delivery service providers is a little bit lesser. And that has a reason, primarily because of you've got what you would call a cartel of these ISI players who don't allow distribution. But that is for a different day. Today, we're talking about how distribution works, what are the good things about it. And if people want to understand the whole mechanics of distribution, it is something that we've done and experienced, so we will be able to help them. Thanks. So what we did was, we understand that close to about all of our water health centers are in underserved communities. And when we're talking about consumers who come and pick up water from our centers, they live within a radius of 2 kilometers. But we realized that we need to go beyond that. We needed to reach beyond that, and we needed to be able to ensure that both our water and our brand is available to consumers beyond this particular physical realm of 2 kilometers. So we obviously could not lay pipes or run the water, because then we would have been similar to what the government is doing. We wanted to be complementary to what they're doing, right? So we said, let's use, distribution as a mechanism to go out and meet those beneficiaries. It is not a new thing at all. It has been done for ages. The only thing is that doing it yourself gives you a lot of experience, and that experience we are able to transfer over to our DSPs, tell them what are the right things to do, how do they do it, route demand estimation. All of that is something that we brought to the table. So what do we do there? So we look at delivering water within a 10 to 15 kilometer radius. That is what the delivery service providers do. Get it from ourselves and expand our reach. Not only expand our reach, but also expand our utilization. So obviously, if you've got 100 customers who are coming in from nearby your WaterHealth center, this can probably go up to 200 or 250 because you're expanding the geography that you're serving. Second most important thing is that we're generating livelihoods in that particular community. More often than not, what we try to do is find an entrepreneur and help him grow along with us. So the more he grows, the more WaterHealth grows in the community, and more does the health metrics also grow. So the entrepreneur is not just a business person or a commercial person. He's actually responsible for health within the community, because he's almost like an ambassador of WaterHealth beyond our physical boundary. And more importantly, given the current COVID-19 scenario where people are not able to move, this comes under essential services. So the delivery service providers have actually seen uptake in consumption, because they are able to go to places where people can't come from. So it basically also, one, provides convenience, and two, definitely a lot of safety factors, because you're not going out in the public and you're trying to keep yourself safe. So typically, what does a typical water distributor look like for us? He or she is basically first generation entrepreneurs, people who want to have their own business, people who want to do well in life, people who want to improve, but go beyond what is being done in the community today. They own a distribution vehicle, truck or auto, or are at least willing to buy one, for this particular purpose. So most of our delivery service providers either use a Tata Ace, which can carry up to 50 to 70 cans in a day, 70 cans in a trip, or a Piaggio Ape. It's a small auto sort of thing, which you're seeing here in the photograph. That takes about 25 cans in one beat, and that's basically the mode of distribution that is there. And for picking up the water from the WaterHealth center and delivering it at the doorstep of the customer, they charge a convenience fee, and the convenience fee basically differs, I'm sure, as you're aware, by the distance they have to travel. So if the place is far away, the amount of money that they charge the customers will be higher. And in some cases they have to take the cans 3 or 4 floors up. So again, there also the cost goes up. So it's all the combination of the convenience that they offer the consumer, and that is what they charge for. One of the key things when a person becomes a distributor with us is that he or she also gets a recognition. They are being associated with a brand that has got a far outreach in across India, and it's an entity which is doing something to impact the bottom of the pyramid. So that's one of the key factors that we bring in the people for. Obviously, commercial consideration is a big thing, but this is one of it. Some of the resources that the DSP should have, or should at least be willing to buy, is basically a delivery vehicle, because that is, it's like, for us, water is required to purify it. For him to distribute, he needs a distribution mechanism. So a vehicle is very, very important if they need to do a number of deliveries in a particular day. There have been models where we have tried out tricycles and smaller two-wheelers, but that is very, very limited in terms of what can be done. So a typical delivery service provider would have either a 3 or 4-wheeler which can ferry the water, and they must possess all the legal documents. So whether it's a leased one, a rented truck, or their own truck, they should have all the necessary documents. So there's a definite level of due diligence that happens. So one, the due diligence is whether they have the necessary skills to actually operate this and maintain this as a business. It's not that they need to come with it on day one. We are willing to train them and get them on board, but that is there needs to be an attitude to learn. 2, they obviously need to have a vehicle, and 3, they need to have some financial standing. at the end of the day, we do the due diligence to ensure that, we do not get people who pick up the water and are not able to pay us. So at the end of the day, everybody needs to survive. The water health centers obviously are giving water at a very, very low rate. Already it's extremely, challenging to keep it sustainable. So, we need to ensure that all the things are in place. So we ensure that all these due diligences are done, and we sign an agreement at the end of them getting through those 3 gates. And that's when they come on board as a supplier. We are looking at market operating prices, which vary anywhere from 15 to 20 in a particular area. Whether it's a Bangalore, whether it's a Delhi, whether it's a Hyderabad, the rates are very, very similar within a particular community. It's not that, in some places in Delhi they charge 35 rupees, but in most of the places, I would say 90% of the places, it's between a 15 to 20 rupee price point that is available, for water. And we're looking at delivery numbers varying from 200 to 300 cans a day. Now, all of this is definitely doable. Would mean about 5 or 6 beats. Would mean that you need to acquire the right type of customers. The customers not necessarily all the time are households. It could also be, for example, small hotels, small shops, eateries, which are looking at providing, food or other condiments at a very, very affordable price to the bottom of the pyramid. So those, again, at the end of the day, our end consumer is somebody who's very similar from a demographic perspective, a person who's not, who's a wage earner, a low wage worker, a laborer. And we try to ensure that our water goes to places where they frequent and visit, so that they're drinking healthy water wherever they go. So when we're looking at 200 to 300 cans a day, we're looking at something which is doable number. And that is what would help him drive his or her business. So we're looking, we've got 2 models, which has got a 15 rupees per can customer price and a 20 rupees per can customer price. You can see the quantum or the difference in the earnings, right from 2 lakhs to close to about 10 lakhs is the amount of money that they can earn in a year. That is good, when you're looking at a small community and entrepreneur over a period of time to get this amount of money is something which is actually a business generation opportunity in the community. And it has got a lot of spiral effects, a lot of positive spiral effects. They're able to give work to people. They're able to, ensure that they put in more such units to deliver to more people. So we've actually seen a lot of success stories from our delivery service providers who have gone on from a single, unit, an auto or a truck, to going to own 2 or 3 of them and managing that. Rather than being a driver and doing it, they now become a manager of these units, and they're able to see a lot more success. So what we've done and I'm just going to go through one of this so that it gives you an idea as to how this has been calculated. These are broad numbers, and obviously, if you've got questions on these, I will be able to take them. So the price per can is 15 rupees, and if they do about 200 cans a day, the monthly earning is 90,000 rupees. Out of which, for the 200 into 30, which is basically 6,000 cans, they pay about 36,000 rupees. That is the cost, the cost of the water that they pick up from the center. That is the amount that they pay to the water health center to get the water. Then they have to obviously buy the seals, the water seals. These are not tamper-proof seals. These are just seals that you put on top of the can to ensure that the water doesn't spill out. There's nothing which goes in, ensuring that there is a lot of hygiene and cleanliness when it comes to this. And then you got the other costs. Now, the other cost basically is the operational expense of this particular unit. We're talking about driver salaries. You got a helper, there's a driver, there's a helper who picks up the water and delivers it, the doorstep, he could be going up or, okay, fine, thanks. Then they've got the EMI of the truck that they need to pay. There's maintenance, monthly maintenance, which can, it goes up to about 2,000 rupees if it's a sort of optimistic scenario where they have more number of cans delivered per month. And then the fuel cost is around 6,500 rupees per month for the type of deliveries that they do. So if you look at it, the total expenses, obviously vary by the number of cans that they basically deliver, but varying from 20,000 rupees as profit that they can retain, or that the earning that they can retain, right up to close to about 80,000 rupees is what a single delivery service provider can do. And this is we have seen like I said, when we started off 50 trucks. We actually were able to hand over or dispose close to about 48 of them to budding delivery service providers, because they had a truck which was which is working, which was well maintained, and they got it at a very affordable price, and they became our delivery service providers. They're still there. Close to about 200 of them today is the number of people that we have on the network in terms of number of DSPs. So what do the delivery service providers get as being associated with WaterHealth? It's not that it's a new business. It's not that it's something different from what is being done by a number of other people. But the benefits are multiple, which is not probably seen immediately, but over a period of time. One is that they get recognized as a Dr. Water delivery service provider. So you're talking about a US multinational organization and its subsidiary in India with whom you're associated with. That's point number one. And that gives a lot of importance, especially when you're in a smaller community, in a village or in a place like that. Two, we provide them training on etiquette. How do they speak to a customer? How do they need to approach a customer? What is it that they need to say? The tone, the way that they need to dress themselves up, not go shabbily dressed. They need to show that the hygiene and the quality and the healthy water that they're bringing in a can is also there when they go out and meet the customer. So they should also always embody that particular hygiene and cleanliness. And that is the training that we do. We help them with the consumer acquisition. So our employee, who's called a relationship executive, goes with the delivery service provider on a beat plan. They design a beat plan for them so that they optimize their travel, they optimize the number of drops per kilometer, so that at the end of the day, the delivery service provider, if he's successful, that's when we are successful. So it is very, very important that we drive his success. And we also help him in the consumer acquisition process and show him how it is done so that he can repeat it going forward. We give him a business card, him or her a business card, so that they know that valid, and legal sort of entity. We provide the marketing support. So this branding, which you saw in the autos that we've got. So we've got the Dr. Water branding. So we've got a silver scheme, a golden scheme, and a platinum scheme. Depending on the number of cans that they guarantee to take in a month, they actually get a sliding scale in terms of price. So what you saw as a 6 rupee price point would actually be as well as 5 rupees for a platinum person, a guy who's saying that he will take 9,000 or 10,000 cans a day. So we've got offers like that. And we've got schemes that we run during festival seasons like Diwali or Dashera, so that their earning could go up and we could also get more consumers. And at the end of the day, we provide them assistance in various areas, where they would not be strong in. Could be legal, could be regulatory, could be governance. And that is what, that a particular WaterHealth, delivery service provider can see by associating with an organization like us. But more importantly, this is about how it is done, how people can expand this. We have done it in our areas. We would love it if the other SEWAH partners could also replicate it, so that it is something that is a success of a particular, or entity being used in various places, and that leads to the success of this consortium as a whole. So with that, I think I almost have come to the end of the session. I'd like to leave some time for questions. I've got about 15 minutes for questions, and love to take any of the questions that you might have.
Madhu, thank you very much for the talk. I open the floor for question and answers to the team here. I am very pleased to inform that the Safe Water Network team from New York, almost the key people, the 6 to 7 have joined in. And I welcome them. And it is very early for them, but their passion and commitment can be seen that we not only have Kurt, but we have our CFO, our Vice President, Development, other members of the team. So a very, very warm and a big welcome to them. But Madhu, as I'm getting in question, let me first take the first question which has come. How do you ensure that the water on the truck is the water which was prepared by the WaterHealth Center and the DSP or your franchisor is not changing the water? First, and the second question, a follow-up to it is, how do you control the price mechanisms? You have fixed a price, but normally the price can go up, as is usually the practice. So we would like to hear answers to both these questions from you.
Sure. Okay. So thanks a lot for the question. Very relevant in the whole scheme of things. The first aspect of how do we ensure that the water that is there is Dr. Water, that's a brand. So is it Dr. Water or is it something else? One of the key things that we bring on to this relationship, as a part of the due diligence, is the aspect of trust. Now, and along with the trust is we got a legal agreement binding in place where if we do see anything that happens, any, I wouldn't say cross contamination, but if they use other water, then there is an ability for them to not only the agreement to be revoked, but they also lose their security deposit and other things. So not only is the name at stake, but it's also financial aspects that are at stake. Point number two, we have our team of operations and relationship executives who are on the ground. They work in multiple communities, so they're the people who go along with the DSPs to various places to ensure that the drop-off is happening on a random basis. So, and the third aspect is that we have got direct access to the customer, the person who's actually taking the service. So we also do random checks to ensure that the quality, the taste, and the other water is consistent. If it is not, we always do a check back to see if things are operating well or not. So those are the three key, checkpoints that we have got in order to keep this particular delivery service provider in line. Yes, but as if you ask me whether this has happened, yes, certain things have happened like this where people have said that they're doing Dr. Water, they've gone filled up water from somewhere else, but those were quickly nipped in the bud because we had these check and balances mechanism where we could actually reach out to multiple people within the either the customer or through a relationship executive or our business associate who's running the center, we could get this information and nip it at the bud.
Thank you, Madhu, for sharing the checks and balances that you have put in place.
Right.
I have another very important question from
Poonamji, one thing, the market operating price I haven't yet thing on. I'll just respond to that. So yes, you're right. There's no MRP on this. We're not sealing it. At the end of the day, we need to be cognizant that this is purified drinking water and not packaged drinking water. We cannot put an MRP. So what happens is that the market itself regulates the pricing. If you look at it, there's something called a market operating price. We are not dealing in something which is a monopoly. Water is there everywhere. There's so many other providers. So if the delivery service provider has to be successful, he needs to be working within that market operating price range. It could vary from 15 rupees to 20 rupees. And he or she actually works within the price range because they need to be staying competitive in the market. And they know that they can easily lose customers or there could be churn of customers if they charge higher. So actually the market environment itself is a way of actually keeping the price, the check on the prices and not ensure that people charge as much as they want. So yeah.
Madhu, Dr. Hemant Sasrabuddhe was previously working with the Nagpur municipality and he's a very senior person. We are very proud that he has participated. The question from him is, in the slum areas, when you are operating in the urban space, the roads are too small and the vehicles cannot enter the lane. And people need this convenience because nobody wants to have the drudgery of carrying the can. What solution do you have in such cases?
So there's a sort of a solution which is more like a hub and spoke. So we have had in places where these sort of the roads do not allow for people to walk in or at least the auto to drive in. The auto also has a sort of a small trolley which is robust, which can carry 2 or 3 cans in one go. So they just get down, sort of get down at the main road, load that small push, to sort of it's almost like a wheelbarrow which is sturdier, and then they take it through the lanes to deliver it. That's again in small places, in a few places in Bangalore we have seen this happen, but by far in many places that we are in today, be it Bangalore, be it Delhi, be it in Hyderabad also, the lanes are right now big enough to accommodate an auto. So it doesn't happen probably in about 10-20% of the cases. This is the option that is used whenever the distances are large from the main road to the drop-off point.
So do you charge extra for the wheelbarrow delivery?
No, we don't. But at the end of the day, if the guy is taking an extra effort, he's going to charge for that. We'll have to leave it to the market to decide it. Like I said, if somebody's coming and picking it up and paying 40 rupees, and if he's going to charge 30 rupees, it's fine as long as he's doing the work. There is an effort that needs to be recognized and paid.
So a very interesting model has come up in Delhi, where on the ground floor you get it at ₹5, first floor for ₹10, and the third floor for ₹15.
Yes.
So that's how the market forces are working.
Right.
We have another question from Dr. T.N.V.V. Rao. Dr. T.N.V.V. Rao is from Underwriters Laboratories. He has worked with Underwriters Laboratories. His question is, how is the Dr. Water different from the packaged water where they follow the IS 14543 standard?
Okay. So thanks, Dr. Rao, for asking this question. There are two basic standards that that the water industry follows. If I were to broadly say, there's packaged drinking water, which is IS 14543, as you rightly said, and there's another which is called the purified drinking water standards, which is IS 10500. Now, the differences in packaged drinking water is that packaged drinking water has a shelf life, so there's ozonization which is done to ensure that the shelf life is at least 30 or 60 days, as the manufacturer is there. And IS 14543, the water is sealed. In the case of the water that WaterHealth or any of the other SEWAH partners provides, it is not sealed, and it's supposed to be consumed within 48 to 72 hours. That is the amount of time that we save that it should be consumed in. Ideally it can go more. If it is the UV disinfection is good enough, it can go up to close to about even 5 days. But for purposes of safety and ensuring that nobody gets sick, 24 to 48 hours, 48 to 72 hours is the maximum time we say that the water should be retained in a particular container. So it is different. It is different basically only from the fact that it's sealed versus unsealed, and the shelf life of the water is different from a 3-day period to a 30-day difference. Otherwise, if you look at it from a content perspective, TDS perspective, we are almost as same as packaged drinking water. There's no difference, but at a very, very affordable price, 20 rupees per liter to, I would say, 50 paise a liter. You know what the difference is. It's about 40 times lesser.
Mr. Amit from Janajal is very curious to know, how do you manage the plastic interaction in water containers, especially in the warmer places where the combination of plastic and consumable can be very tricky?
I don't know what consumable we are talking about, but all the consumables that we use are food grade. So it does not have any interaction with plastic. But more importantly, the cans that we use are food grade plastic. So it is meant for transporting, either eatables or beverages. So food grade plastic is one of the important things. And in warm weathers, you're right. If you keep it out for a long period of time, you can have fungi and other things there. But your delivery is happening an hour within the time it is purified and sent across, because these delivery service providers need to have multiple beats to ensure that they are profitable, right? So they're not going to spend too much time keeping the water in the can. The water goes from can to can. But yes, if you ask me a question of microplastic leaching and other things, they could be there. But as long as it's food grade plastic and you dispose the water canisters, again, that is why we got a DSP. After a period of X amount of what you would call number of uses, we junk it and they use a new food grade plastic can. So that is the only way in which we ensure that the plastic leaching is minimized to a maximum extent.
Madhu, thank you very much. You have been really bombarded with questions. Now, I think this is the last question which we will take. This question is from Mr. Anand. What do you see the service providers like WaterHealth can complement the efforts of Government of India under the Jal Jeevan Mission Urban Plan so that we have safe and affordable drinking water access for all?
Great. Thanks, Anand. That's actually a very important question, given that Jal Jeevan Mission has now gone urban, right? Till the last 2-3 years, we are only looking at the rural aspect. The urban aspect is coming to fore. One of the key things that's important is that this is a team game. This is definitely a team game. When I mean the team includes, a Government of India or the government and institutions. It could be the urban local bodies. It could be the panchayats. It could be, JJM for this matter. It includes private players like ourselves who are trying to ensure that the impact is increasing. And third, developmental agencies like USAID. When all three of us come together is only when we can make this a success. Each one of us doing it separately, definitely not. I'm sure everybody of us have tried this out and it has been a massive failure. So the public-private partnership that we are looking at and which has been perfected by a lot of us, we have been in this for 15 years. I'm sure that Safe Water Network has been for even a longer period, and so have many of the the partners who are here. So it is what we have taken is we have taken a learning from rural areas, tweak them around for the urban areas. And we know that what we can do is right now complement JJM Urban's mission. So there are definitely going to be places before JJM Urban comes with a piped water connection. We can be that interim offering where we come in, we ensure, set up a system, ensure that safe drinking water is provided to the people till the time a permanent source comes there. And then, this is an idea that we were toying with. You have a container-based system, go and plug and play it in a particular area. Once the work is done, once piped water comes there, drinking water comes there, take the container, put it on a flatbed truck, move to some other place, because in a place like India, that is always going to be needed. You're going to have places which are going to be developing, and we can always be there, ensuring that you're going to serve the people who need it the most. So that is my answer, Anand.
That's a great solution. Thank you, Madhu. And now with this, I would ask Mr. Anand to provide the closing comments.
Thank you so much, Poonamji, Madhu, and the people who have posed challenging questions to you, Madhu. So I think, but I think this is needed because I think people do understand that this is a very critical area and sector that we are working in. We are very glad that people from not just the US, but from Indonesia and other places joined in the call and in the meet today, Madhu. I'm very grateful that the ministry also has joined in this call today. And we would be obviously sharing this full recording with them so that we can get further guidance and have the opportunity to work shoulder to shoulder with them. As you mentioned very clearly, this is a team effort, Madhu. This is something where more the merrier. This is something where a vast country like India, I think solutions like this, there is no dearth of opportunities to basically expand this solutions. And I'm very glad, Poonamji, once again, thank you for your leadership and having Safe Water Network and the SEWAH program bring all this opportunities under one roof. Once again, congratulations. Look forward to hearing more in this series, and well done, Madhu. It was a pleasure listening to you, as have been our first partners in the water sector with USAID. I think it has been always a pleasure, and we obviously will look forward to more stories in future series. Over to you, Poonamji.
Thanks, Anand, for having me.
Yeah, I would like to thank our speaker, Mr. Madhu Krishnamoorthy, Mr. Anand Rudra, all the delegates who have participated in the Water Talk today. Special thanks to the people who have joined from the ministry. Sir, we are very grateful to you for coming in to listen to us. We want to partner with Jal Jeevan Mission in a very big way. Thank you to our USAID colleagues from Indonesia and also colleagues from USA, New York. Thank you very much. Have a very great evening.